How to Marry Mr. Rich. How to Find a Single Man Who is Making $150,000 plus a year. Written by Melody Summers and narrated by Madeline Starr.
Melody Summers' personal introduction. A record-breaking 56 million American women are unemployed. From the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, February 2015. A woman is lucky if she has any kind of job at all today. But even if she still has a job, she may work at a dirty job like I did, at a fast food restaurant as a fry cook, flipping greasy hamburgers and fries, then serve them to abrupt, arrogant customers all day long, or as a cleaning lady for a small motel chain, changing hundreds of kids' smelly, urine-stained bed sheets at 5 a.m. At that hour, I was out of my mind and half asleep. Or as a maid for a home maid service, cleaning filthy, diarrhea-incrusted toilets in old people's homes. I worked even when I had splitting headaches from all the strong cleaners and disinfectants. I had those 3 dirty jobs until I quit them all, got smart, and married a rich millionaire. Then I wrote How to Marry Mr. Rich in order to teach every woman in the world that it is really very possible for you to marry a rich millionaire too. So if you are a struggling, poor, or middle-class woman that desperately craves the good life, then you need to learn and understand what the past generations of poor and middle-class mothers always told their poor and middle-class daughters. You will have a lifetime of miserable poverty married to a poor man, and you will have a lifetime of trivial boredom married to a middle-class man. So, marry Mr. Rich. Melody Summers, romance novel author. Melody Summers, From Welfare Mom to Mrs. Rich, Part 1. Ever since I was a kid, I loved writing about romance. In fact, I wrote my first romance story back in Kansas when I was just 10 years old, to my then puppy-love little boyfriend, Tommy Stout. But I never planned to become a romance writer when I was a kid. I always wanted to be a hairstylist, and then a registered nurse, and then a first-grade teacher. Well, you get the picture. I wanted to be a lot of things, including a rock singer. I even learned how to play the electric organ from that passing phase. But I became what I guess I always really wanted to be, a wife and mother. First a wife in June 2001. I married my high school sweetheart, Rick, and then a mother in April 2002 of a beautiful little girl that we named Brandy. I should say a very poor wife and mother because my husband Rick was a middle school janitor and I was a stay-at-home mom. One day in March of 2004, my husband Rick said that we should move to Florida because he was going nowhere as a middle school janitor in Kansas and that he had a cousin that lived in Cape Coral, Florida, who was making really good money in the construction industry, building new homes in the booming early 2000s Florida real estate market. So he asked me, "Melody, do you want to move to Florida?" I said, well, I guess, maybe. So in November 2004, we packed up everything, said goodbye to all of our families, and moved to a trailer park near Cape Coral, Florida. Well, Rick was right about making more money. His cousin got him a job right away as a carpet installer, making more than he did as a janitor. Then he got a better job as a cement truck driver, making over twice what he was making as a janitor. Things were looking great, so we started making plans to buy a new Florida pool home and 2 new cars. For years, I had written romance stories for my own amusement, fantasizing about living a rich life with a rich man. After all, the basic plot of the standard romance story is always about 95% of the time, poor woman marries rich man, and then they live happily ever after. Well, here it was, to a small degree, a real-life romance story really coming true for me, Melody. But then, in 2007, the bottom fell out of the Florida 2000s real estate market, and Rick was getting less and less overtime driving his cement truck. Our dreams of moving out of the trailer park into a new Florida pool home were looking more and more like a pipe dream every day. The tens of thousands of dollars we were saving in the bank were slowly being withdrawn down to a few $100s to pay for everyday expenses like food, rent, and electric bills.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?